Gambling is basically Tetris with your money because it's a game that nobody ever actually wins and you're really just trying to delay that collapse. So today I'm going to break down why gambling feels endless, why being up actually somehow feels like losing, and why your brain locks into levels the same way old arcade games did. And if you've ever felt like the game controls you more than you actually control it, stick with me here. This is going to make a lot of sense. Let's say you start with 10,000 and you run hot and hit 20,000. So you've doubled your money. That should feel awesome. You should be calling it a night. You should be cashing out. You should be proud of yourself. But then, as you know, you lose a couple of bets and suddenly you're at 15,000. And you're still up 5K. You're still ahead. You're still in profit. Most people would be thrilled with that, but somebody who struggles with gambling isn't. That's just not how it works. And that's not how your brain works, because the moment you hit 20,000, your brain updated the scoreboard. Your brain doesn't lock in the starting point. It locks in at the peak. It locks in at the highest number you saw. So now 15,000 doesn't feel like being up 5 grand anymore. It feels like you're missing 5 grand that was supposed to be yours. In a weird, twisted way, it actually feels like you've lost, even though mathematically you're still up. And that's the trap. They call it the leveling problem. And once your brain resets the level like that, you're not chasing profit anymore. You're chasing a number that really only existed for a moment or for a game or a quarter or whatever you were betting on. You're chasing this ghost, a version of reality that disappeared the second you left it. And the second you fall below that new level, your brain goes into chase mode. You just need one more win. You just need to get back to even. I just need to undo that mistake. And that's how people who are winning end up losing everything. Let me explain why that Tetris comparison is so accurate. Tetris has no final level. There's no final boss. There's no ending cutscene. No, you win. It just gets faster and faster and faster until you break and you can't win. You can only delay losing. And every time you survive another level, your brain starts to think, okay, I can handle a little bit more. Let's go again. But the more pieces that fall, the faster the board fills up and the louder the panic gets. And gambling works the exact same way. You're not trying to win some final meaningful prize. You're just trying to keep the game alive a little bit longer, because anytime you hit a new record high in your gambling balance or sports betting account balance, it's never enough. You could be up $100,000 and you'll keep going. And sometimes that game lasts an hour. Sometimes it's a few days. Sometimes it's a whole week where you're barely sleeping and you're constantly chasing, but the ending is always the same. In Tetris, the speed increases, your decisions get worse, the pressure builds, and eventually everything collapses. And when it does, you act shocked. But deep down, you felt it coming the entire time. And the panic when those pieces start piling up and you get to the end of the Tetris level where there's nothing left and you're about to lose, that's when you just start saying screw it and you just put pieces into wherever they're going to fit. It's no different than throwing a 10-leg parlay in to try and win it all back. Another way to see it, think about that old Snake game on those, Nokia brick phones or whatever. Like, the longer you play, again, the faster it gets. And at first it's really slow. You feel in control. You feel smart. You feel like you're killing it and you're going to beat the game, but eventually you just start boxing yourself in. Your own moves actually trap you. Your own decisions shrink that space, and suddenly you have nowhere else to go. And eventually you just crash into yourself. And it's not because you're bad at the game, not because you didn't try, but because the game becomes literally impossible to control, and that's gambling. You get boxed in by your own decisions, your own bets, your own attempts to fix that last mistake. You chase your own tail faster and faster. And again, you just crash into yourself. And it's not because you're weak. It's not because you're reckless. It's because the system is designed to accelerate until you fold. Let me repeat that. It's not because you're reckless. It's because the system is designed to accelerate until you fold. The game never ends because you win. It ends because you finally run out of space or money or time or energy to keep playing. But eventually, you're going to come back to it. So it just becomes this endless cycle. And when you finally step back, when that noise quiets down, you start to realize something you couldn't see while you were actually playing the game. It was never about the money. It was never about the win. It was all about escaping, numbing out, chasing a version of yourself you thought existed on that next level that you never got to. But the truth is, the only way to win is to stop playing. And once you do, life slows down, the panic fades, your brain resets, and for the first time in a long time, you can actually breathe again.